The Court of Appeal has reserved its judgment in the matter involving vybz Kartel and its co-appellants. This, as the appeal hearing came to end after 7 days. As my colleague Nicole Wilson reports, attorneys representing the appellants insist that the phone taken from vybz Kartel should not have been admitted into evidence.
Trial Judge Justice Lennox Campbell is said to have acknowledged that the data on the phone taken from dancehall artiste vybz Kartel was compromised. This was a revelation by Bianca Samuels, who is one of the attorneys representing Sean Campbell, as she read an excerpt from the trial transcript. This was in direct response to the prosecution's assertion that the trial judge dealt with a piece of evidence appropriately. Samuel says the trial judge's knowledge of the state of the evidence means that the phone should have not been given to the jury. She contends that it was an issue of law, not an issue of fact.
The learned trial judge had a question of law to answer for himself, and that was whether or not the evidence had raised a reasonable doubt as to the integrity of the exhibit in light of the concession by the Crown that in fact the phone had been tampered with whilst in police custody, and that was a matter for the learned trial judge. It was a question of law.
The defense also sought to make a distinction between a file and a text message. Isat Buchanan, who is also representing Sean Campbell, says the transcripts offered no clarification on what is meant by file and text message. He says the file created on July 6, which is said to have contained the damning text message, does not mean the text itself was created on that date.
There were discrepancies within the transcript throughout that didn't make a definitive date as to when that text was created, and was not in conflict with Ms. Samuels' interpretation and the defense's interpretation that the original date was the 6th of July. And I would have presented several dates, including September 30th, which said that there was a modification date and a creation date and an opportunity for the information, the messages, to be manipulated.
The Court of Appeal has reserved its decision, with its president Dennis Morrison saying he cannot make any promises or indication as to when a ruling will be handed down. Nicole Wilson.
Yvette Clark, the first African-American